Hello there, Seraph17 once again. This is my Uncharted 2 Remastered Brutal Difficulty walkthrough. Once again, we have a level that is so quick to kill you that I did not get the title card in it. This is 23, it is called Reunion. My strategy at the beginning is to carry the grenade launcher from the previous mission into this particular mission and then use it to try and get some quick and easy kills of the first wave. However, I always find the grenade at times to be kind of underwhelming. It has a random kill ratio for me. I don't know if there's a sweet spot. I don't know exactly the best way of using it. But I fire it at people and I feel like they should die, and there are times when they don't. So just bear that in mind when you're taking on this section. If you put a perfectly placed spawn grenade on somebody, there's a chance that they might just come running out of it, and hopefully they don't. But you have to push forward on these moments to trigger other people to turn up, and it means putting yourself oftentimes in the wake of danger, like I did just then. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be trying my best to put whatever I can between me and the people firing the big guns. And there is a guy to my right firing rockets, and there's a guy just there, I think, firing rockets as well. So it's a bit of an explosive party, but you can get rid of them without, incurring too much damage. I'm trying to get crazy with a grenade here. One of the things I've always disliked about a reticle such as that is you can never seem to look at where it's going to land. You have to just, completely look up, and I appreciate that they're showing you the arc, but when you're aiming so high that you can't even see where it's, going to be projected to land, what's the point in it? Because it means it's a blind toss at that, when you're looking so very high to try and get some kind of victory from it. And when you land them, they feel great, but a lot of the times you can think you've aimed super high and it's going to go really far, and it just doesn't. And if there was a way to maybe glance down, which I guess I never really tried. Well, because you can't, can you? You can't hold down to look up for me and then press up to look down. It won't work that way. And if you don't invert your controls, what I just said sounds like magic. But, ow, that was a shotgun. And that is a shotgunner. So you want to put yourself in weird cover like I did just then, because Drake has a fetish for being in real rough situations. Right now, if not for Eleanor, I would be dead. Because there are so many people that could have shot me then, but they were not focused on me. And that is one of those moments that is 100% luck. And that is what Brutal is all about, having that run where you don't get shot. It's incredibly important. And then we have a very ambitious shotgunner who does not know the range of his weapon. And because all those guys just queued up on this left-hand side, it means I can shoot through the floorboards to kill them, which is pretty much as overpowered as it gets, because they cannot hurt you unless there's somebody who you can't see on the other side shooting at you, and it's free damage, so take it. The game is not going to pull any punches, so neither should you. Yeah, Uncharted, man. Exciting stuff. So far, we've had a lot of parallels towards Tomb Raider. I put out the point that if it wasn't for Tomb Raider, there wouldn't be any Uncharted. A couple of people countered with the most recent Tomb Raider took a lot from Uncharted, which it undoubtedly did. And the new Tomb Raider comes out next month, and I was perusing a trophy list, and I did not see any difficulty trophies on it, but some guy on Twitter corrected me and mentioned that there is one for beating the game on Survivor. So it's nice to hear that that game's actually going to have a harder difficulty, because the first game didn't, and it meant that nobody played it on it and nobody needed help with it. And that being said, hard difficulty on that game is a joke. It's really, really simple. And it's a shame too, because I do think that game is really, really fun. Some people give it a hard time because of all the woman violence thing and the perceived, quick time event rape controversy, but when you look at it just as a game, I think it had a lot going for it, and I think it did a lot of things well. It was just a really fun game to play, and I'm very excited for the sequel to see what they do with it and see how they evolve it, because you just don't know. Apparently there's going to be an emphasis on the tombs, so there's going to be a little bit more exploration and a little bit more puzzle solving like the old Tomb Raider games, which I think is great news, because that's what Tomb Raider did really well back in the day. And I say it did really well, which is pretty much another way of saying at the time it felt good, but now it'll probably feel horrible, which is unfortunate, but it's true. So here is another spawn of a heavy dropping down. This is all on my second try, I think. The first try I had the title card, I died. This try is the one that worked, and you can tell that this is an early try because there is a very tentative spawn process of me not wanting to get instantly murdered pushing up too swiftly, but knowing that I have to move up because the game isn't progressing. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The moments where the battle's still happening and you have no idea where the enemies are and you have to do something at the scariest moments of the difficulty, because you die so fast. And I don't think people really have a good understanding of just how much you die, even by watching this video, because it does happen so very quickly. And of course, you don't see those runs where everything was going great, and then you went and grabbed a piece of ammo, in cover, and you instantly died. And you're like, wow, I didn't even realize he could see me from here. There are so many instances of that, it's not even funny. And you'll completely understand once you play it why there are moments like right now, where instead of going out and putting myself into a position to shoot him, I'm really contemplating using these floorboards because it's so much safer. And a lot of the game is like that. I shot just then to try and encourage somebody to move, but I can't tell where he is, and she knows because of course she's the computer. I don't, and it's a dangerous place to be. So I'm going to make a push over here. I could have died then. I could have easily died just then, but I didn't. And that's lucky. And that's what you need. You need a little luck. And there's nothing you can do about it. A lot of the strategies that I'm going to show you all work in theory. But in practicality, you don't know if they're going to work because you can die very quickly. And I think this game has a few moments where it's almost 98% luck and the rest of it is bullshit. But they are very few. And everything else, you govern most of it. Like, there are certain things you can't control. Gun spread. Enemy movements at times. That one time when you got shot when you were in cover and you really think it was just nonsense. But it happened and you have to deal with it. But right now, this is when things get scary because we know that we have to push up. And I know it's going to trigger a spawn, but I don't know what the spawn is. And of course, Elena's moonwalking because I can't get past her. So I'm pushing her. Is she Elena? I don't even know the names of these people. It's been too long. I think that might be Elena. Is the other one Chloe? No idea. Got a lot of people saying that they thought that one of those people was very attractive and they couldn't understand me calling them ugly. Well, fortunately, guys, they're ugly to me. You know, it's one of those things. Everybody sees something different. Everybody has their own idea of beauty. And this game just doesn't do it for me at all. And there are plenty of games that do. Wow, was that a jump? I think my capture card just skipped then. So yeah, another reminder to never buy an Elgato product because it's a giant piece of shit. And if your defense is anything along the lines of, well, Maximilian's got one and he says it's great. Well, Maximilian's sponsored by it, and there's probably a part of his contract that says he can't say it's a piece of shit that is prone to failing. Everybody I know who's used this machine has had issues with it. So, it's just fact, guys. You might be the luckiest person on the planet who has a perfectly working Elgato, but I don't, and that's what matters. So, fuck Elgato. But the only people left here, I think, is one dude in this room. However, I have to go into the room to find him, and he ambushes me, and it's one of those terrifying moments of I could have literally, you know, failed all of this in the space of a second, but I managed to control the situation. That being said, though, about the whole technology thing, this project has ran really smooth, and I've tried my best to make sure that I don't have those technical issues, and even with sticking every video to like a 15-minute limit, and then turning off the Elgato once it's finished rendering, giving it a few seconds, turning it back on, and then capturing, even then, I'm still having issues when I'm being that ridiculously anal with it. Like, it's just so sad, and I'm glad it did as good a job as it did, but it should have done a better job, you know? HD PVR for life, son. But all devices have issues, guys. Every single capture card that exists has failed or had issues at some point. None of them are going to work all the time, and none of them are going to be perfect. It's just that realization. And it sucks, it really does. Like I was thinking, I was kind of idealizing the concept of an internal capture device, and then the first thing I heard was that they fail as well. And it's just that thing, isn't it? Headsets, you pay all this money, they break. Capture devices, you pay all this money, they have audio desyncs, they have capture failures, they have all this kind of weird failure stuff. It's just technology. Is it planned obsolescence? I don't really know, but it ain't cool, whatever it is. So, swing onto the rope, anywho, and then position yourself over this chasm, this void into the place we were just fighting, and then we're going to jump across here onto this snowy rooftop and take on a couple dudes. The D-pad is going to show you some stuff there, but I always ignore it because I just don't have the time. You'll notice I picked up a fully stocked rocket launcher. We're going to be using this shortly in a sequence that runs really smoothly with the strategies that I have. If Monastery went as smoothly as some of the strats I'm going to be showing you in this level, it would be a breeze. Because we have some really dirty moments where I get behind an entire spawn, we have a moment where I skip an entire spawn, and we have another moment where Like, a big fight becomes just nothing because of superior positioning. So lots of cool stuff to hopefully convey across to you if you're having issue. But you're a godly gamer, like most of the people on YouTube who comment, so you're having no issue whatsoever, and I'm just a filthy casual who should really play better. So there you go. But be careful of this dude. I'm going to aim out of cover and shoot him with my glorious Desert Eagle. Look at that. If only the game worked like that with most guns. Because you know what? That's how it works for us. We get killed so quickly. They're just like, what? You shot me? Oh, I don't feel it. They're using ball bearings, pellets? What is this shit? We have a very, very authentic instrument happening right now. Sounds like a dying animal. I love it. But a little bit more climbing, a little bit of the old parkour, and once again, I really think the climbing in this game needs some work. I think in the third game it still has some of the bugs that this one has, where it just isn't as tight as it could be. But I think for all intents and purposes, they've done a fantastic job, because it works 98% of the time. It's just the 2% stands out so goddamn much because it really ruins your fun. But on this bit here, you will not take any damage. So if you rush down here while they're having this gunfight, you're going to supersede a spawn point because it'll never happen. So do not worry. Run all the way over here. See that just then? Something vanished. I don't know what that was, but it vanished. If you come over here, there is a door that you have to open by pressing triangle. And normally, you have to wait a few seconds, everything despawns, and it lets you press triangle. But the music queued and triggered. So I'm like, did I do this wrong? Did I miss my cue? But no soldiers turn up because I'm stood where they should turn up. And then boom, it's over. You touch the door and you've done it. There is normally a second wave of enemies and a pretty tricky fight there, but you can completely skip it. And some people might look down on that as cowardly or as game breaking, but I'm sorry, that's just knowledge usurping game at that point. You know, why would you not do that? That is... You're not jumping through a wall, you're not doing a stupid glitch jump, you are literally pushing where the game tells you to go and doing it in such a sequence that the enemies don't have time to do anything, and I think that's awesome. But if you do the path I just did now, you're going to be up on this balcony with a rocket launch. There are two heavies down there that do not know you are here. You can shoot them twice with an RPG and it will kill them. I kind of disagree with this. I think it's a bit dumb that they take two. Then again, they take three, my bad, that's even worse. So yeah, they take 3 RPGs. The good news is we have 3 RPGs, so it's pretty cool. So clip him again, and then put him down. And once you've done this, what's going to happen is I think there's a spawn of an enemy to your right and a couple of people in the courtyard. All you have to do is climb into that room to our right when the shutter's open. But the shutter's only open when you've dealt with a few dudes. So there's the Desert Eagle guy there, and there's somebody else down on the floor. The good news is they can't shoot through the stairs. The stairs is like kryptonite to the people in this game, so we're going to use this power position to take out the dudes. And as soon as that doorway is open, that window, sorry, you can make your progress through there. But I'm going to be running around picking up all the stuff, and I recommend you do the same, because you always want to be as empowered as you can. But did you hear the music dim then? A little bit, you know, not great. It's kind of manipulative, I think, because when music dims, it generally means the combat's over, and it wasn't. I think what happened is the AI lost sight of me, so the game changed the music from conflict to, you know, we don't quite know where the dude is. I think that's what happened. Or maybe it's just the way the song goes, you know, big drum, 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 silence, and then, you know, a build again, another slow build. But I think there's a dude up in the window at this moment. I can't remember what he has. He might just have a rifle or a Desert Eagle, but he's definitely there. Oh wow, there is a shotgun guy. Here's me thinking that, goodness me, I had to be accurate just then, and by goodness, thank God I was. Wow. That could have ended really badly, and it didn't. And it just goes to show, at that range, which was pretty damn close, that shotgun did not one-shot kill me. If that was Uncharted 1, it probably would have, from what I've heard. A lot of nightmare stories about that game. I just watched a few videos by a buddy of mine called Hado, who has beat the game on Brutal, and he's uploading it now. I think he's on like chapter 14. I have no idea how many chapters are in that first game, but I watched the level that everybody hates. Is it chapter 5 Fortress? And in the end, there is a sequence in this water room where a bunch of dudes are dropping down all around you, and the cover looks pretty damn shitty. And he's got a really good strat for that bit, so if you're suffering, check him out. He's got some really, really good videos there. My only gripe with your videos, Hado, is when you can get some funding, try and get a better mic, because the hissing is one of those things that it's so subtle, but it puts people off watching. You know, YouTube is so crowded at this point, and if I could go back and do it again, the one thing I would do is get a better microphone sooner, because I did like 3 years of constant work with shitty headset microphones, and the quality really, really does suffer. So, that's my one piece of advice to you. But everything else you're doing, I'm loving, because he's got a really hardcore channel. But that room, like, I already have a few ways that I think I would have done it differently to him, but for the most, he's got a really cool strategy there, and there aren't that many on YouTube, so really, really nice. But he was wondering if I had a save file for this that I could send to him so he could go straight to Brutal. I swapped my save file out onto a USB, sent it to him through Hotmail via email, and he put it in his PlayStation 4 and it wouldn't work because the PS4 has this really archaic, stupid save transfer protection thing. So if you're wondering about skipping playing through Crushing first to get straight to the difficulty, you can't do it, guys, unless there's some like weird magic trick, because for some reason they just don't want you doing that. They don't want you messing with that kind of stuff. And as much as I can understand it, you could literally do this on every single console that's existed. I mean, you might not have been able to do it with Mega Drives and SNESes and shit, but even then you could take your fucking game to someone else's house and let them play your shit. So that kind of counts. But how many times did you take a memory card to a friend's house on like a PlayStation 1 or an N64, those little memory pack things that were horrible that you plugged in the back and they got super stiff? Like, so many places where this was a thing. This was a gaming culture thing. And now, you've got a cloud, a goddamn cloud. And it's this, you know, illusory concept of technology that's just out there, and I can't see it, I can't touch it, but I know it exists and it's awesome, yet we can't use it to share things. Why is it implemented if you can't share stuff? And I have no idea if it's the same on the Xbox One. I hope it's not, just for the sake of I'm a gamer, but, you know, it's just really disappointing. Oh, by the way, the very first thing I put on here, I do it wrong. I ended up putting it on the fire-winged dude because I thought it was the lion. I thought it was the side profile of the lion, and it wasn't. I wasn't paying enough attention, so don't do this. The good news is, listen.
This one's in the wrong spot.
Drake literally says, this is wrong. So if you're listening to this with volume when you're playing, you can do this puzzle much better. And then I realise, I'm like, oh, god damn it, wrong guy. The thing is to my left. This goes on a different one. It goes on this guy. And when you put it on the correct one, it sinks in. And to figure the puzzle out, you can use your journal. And my memory is so bad, I used the journal like 3 or 4 times during this. And I beat the game on Crushing the day before I recorded this. So not even a day had passed since I did this puzzle, and I'd already forgot it. So that just goes to show my short-term memory is ridiculous. But my hand-eye coordination's really good, so that's okay. And don't be misled by this one. It's got a little green top on it, which makes you think you have to put it on the green one, but it isn't the green one. And I always think at moments like this, if it had that feature from Castlevania, where you just go into your journal and you press skip puzzle, and it doesn't give you a reward for beating it, because on that game I think you got currency for beating the puzzles without cheating. But that choice, really, really cool. And don't get me wrong, I think this puzzle's great. I think all the puzzles in this game are pretty decent. But, you know, if you could just press a button and skip it on a consecutive playthrough, I think that'd be amazing. Because
okay, I've seen these symbols before.
I think people will come to walkthroughs for moments like this, but I think there'll be many more circumstances where they come for moments that are the combat, which is the actual gameplay and stuff. Like, look at me now, I'm staring at it again. As you can see there, the symbol and the colour translates to which ones you've got to dump them on. I call them all kinds of things, like, you know, Scythe one, Bulbous Fat, like, Quaver thing, and what have you. But I'm sure your guys have got really good, you know, fertile memories, and you can remember all this shit without having to keep going that book. And I could have edited the book out. I could have gone in there, trimmed that shit, and made it look like I was just, you know, a master of the memory palace. But I just don't want to really do that, because I'm not. And I don't like to hide my flaws in my gameplay. I've never really been that kind of person. You know, I do edit the deaths out of this, but I do that because it's a walkthrough. And my idea of a walkthrough is me showing you how to win, not showing you how to struggle. Everybody knows how to struggle. It's called playing the game. How to win, very different circumstance. But keep flipping them. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Uncharted 3, because I'm super stoked to play it, but I'm on the precipice of a ton of game releases, and I'm not getting any of the games early because I'm just not big enough on YouTube. I don't have PR and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be getting them when everybody else does, and YouTube's already saturated right now with footage from them. So they stand no chance at being successful projects, which is sad, but I'm still going to cover them because, you know, they're going to be fun, and I think people might want to watch them if they do stumble upon my channel. But Halo 5, I'm hearing a lot of strange things about Halo 5. Everybody's shitting on it, and I don't know if it's because it's cool to shit on the new Halo. I played Halo 4, and I'm not a big Halo fan, and I thought it was really good. You know, I thought it was interesting. It had moments that I enjoyed. So I'm quite looking forward to this new one because I'm going into it with the same kind of mentality of, you know, I'm not a guy who's going to get, you know, super pissed off if it's bad or if it's different. I'm just going to play it like it's a first-person shooter that's, you know, space-themed. Because I have no investment in that series. And see where we go. But a lot of people real mad at this point. Oh, by the way, folks, you remember earlier on in the guide, I said there's a sequence where you cannot stealth it because you break a guy's neck and two heavies turn around and instantly murder you while you're doing it, even when you're silent, even when they're not facing you. It's this place. I'm going to show you the perfect path to kill a bunch of dudes. Kill him up on the ladder. After that, if you come down, go to your left, there's a guy who's got his back against a stone. You cannot stealth kill him without alerting everyone. The game is clinically broken. I don't know why they did it that way. It's retarded, but I really don't like it. That was a firework. We are getting close to that kind of time of year, so I do apologise. I might try and grab that in the post, but I start the fight by killing both the heavies, and then you're going to get rushed by a bunch of dudes. So get in cover and introduce them to the concept of getting wronged. Because of course you can't do that, to which Arnie says, wrong. And if you haven't seen Terminator 1, we've already had this discussion. Please watch it. So there's a guy in a turret who's going to make your life kind of miserable, but he's not that much of a threat because the turret's total pussies on this difficulty compared to everything else. There's going to be a couple of other dudes. The hardest part about this is pushing forward with the guys on the opposite side of this arena shooting at you because they can hit you from some stupid distances, and the amount of times I got clipped while in cover was really obnoxious. I think this is a tough fight, but it's nowhere near as tricky as some of the ones with bad cover, bad spawns, or bad checkpoints, so you should be pretty cool. Another great way of knowing if enemies are still alive is if Elena shoots at them. She's literally going to be telling you where to look, and there are times where you just won't know. The guy I'm aiming at right now, see him behind that stack? He's the person who will shoot you if you push up too far and you don't know he's there. He is absolutely fantastic at killing you from distances you think he shouldn't be able to do. So, definitely get your money's worth at clipping him from a distance because that guy is an asshole. But you'll notice I keep going back to the RPG. I'm going to fire the RPG at him because I know that there's no real need for it in this sequence, and there's a grenade launcher waiting for me once I've done this fight. And I prefer the grenade launcher to the RPG just because you get more shots. It's one of the things that really bugs me in third-person shooters when they give you the super great gun, but it has a super low amount of ammo. Like, if you're going to give us a rocket launcher, give us the ability to use it for a little bit, because it's always this, you know, one trick and done, and I've never been a fan of that. But I just love the Desert Eagle. I'm so happy the Desert Eagle is worthwhile in this game. It really reminds me of Stranglehold. If anybody remembers that pretty old school third-person shooter way back when. It was a John Woo inspired, hard-boiled inspired third-person action game. And on the levels, there were these golden Desert Eagles. They were usually hidden and placed before areas where the game got really tricky. And they were the best gun on the game. They were the gun that killed things really, really quickly. And if you picked that up before a boss, and you shot the boss in the head, you could instantly murder them. It was wonderfully empowering, and I've been looking at picking up a German version of that game, because apparently the German version has an achievement list on Xbox 360 that is separate to the one that I already got when I bought it when it came out in my country, which means I want to play that game again. And if I can get achievements again, it's a really fun incentive to go back through it and, you know, get some achievements and have some fun with a game that I haven't played for... When did that even come out? 2011? Something like that? 2010 maybe? That is a long-ass time. And I remember that game being pretty challenging on its hardest difficulty too. Pretty tough. Like, one of my friends couldn't get past the band level. There was an area where you went into it and there was a band in the middle and there was like a cocktail bar at one side. And you just got rushed from every angle and it was really tricky stuff. I don't think you can get up there, by the way. You know where that dude is I just shot? So hopefully his Desert Eagle falls to the floor, because it will be lost. And losing a Desert Eagle ammo supply is a sad day in Uncharted, I think. Almost the saddest. But right now, there are some people left, and I don't want to risk ruining everything I've done, because the checkpoint is literally where we began before I stealth killed the first dude, and it doesn't seem like a lot until you're playing it a few times, and then it gets a bit frustrating and a bit tedious, and there are times when I just wish the game would let me win, even though I don't really wish that. It's just fun, you know, to get mad and be like, please let me win. But right now, massively exposed when you aim at this dude, but I think he's the last guy. And for whatever reason, his AI was way ballsing up there, and he had no idea what was happening. But Elena tells us there's more people. The music tells us that it could be over, which is... I think it's just with the way the music loops. It sounds like it hits a crescendo, it ends, and then it builds again. And that's kind of not cool, dude. Music is really important in a third-person shooter, because it tells you when you are safe. Gears of War kind of did that. It was the Gears of War thing. You hear that bell, you know you've won. And it's one of those subconscious touches that you don't even have to question, you just know. So when a game does something similar, and it doesn't come through with it, and you die, it feels like the biggest injustice. It feels like a robbery. And once again, this is that moment. I want to push forward, but I have no idea if there's anybody left, and I'm scared. Then you might think, well, isn't that a bit pussy-ish? Why would you be scared? It's just a game. Like, there's so much progress that you've done at this point to die, and you die so fast. And there he was. Just one guy there. Kind of hugging the cover, looking the wrong way. And she dropped down, which I think means we're done.
Wait, so where's this?
Yeah, she's talking, we're done. So it was just that one guy. But he could have literally ended our run very easily if I'd not have spotted him, and he'd have spotted me. But the only thing left to do here, folks, is run around and pick up ammo. There is a Desert Eagle refill in this area. Sometimes there is two, so definitely check for that. I trimmed it out because I don't want to bore you. And then you push this thing, and then we're going to be ziplining across and doing a section that I talked about on the monastery level that was not actually on the monastery level, so I apologise about that.
This way.
My memory, not so
I think
great.
there might be a quick way down over here.
But in 6 months, guys, I'm going to tell you all sorts. Oh, that was me going and collecting even more ammunition, so get me. But this is definitely the part I was meaning to talk about. The rope that they just slid down, there's going to be a second spawn of enemies that comes down that rope. I'm going to try and spawn kill them with a grenade, and they're going to live. And I'm going to be stood there scratching my head wondering what the hell is going on. So go down the ladder. Immediately when you hit down here, there's a spawn trigger. They're going to come from those stairs. You can just murk them immediately with Desert Eagle because you're going to get a free refill, and it is delicious. There is the shield guy. There is his anus in a glass, and there's that guy. So once you've done this, if you sprint up here, there is this guy who turns up, these two, and you can just hit them from the stairs like this. This last guy has a Desert Eagle, so he is no threat whatsoever because it takes him 9 years to aim at you, and by the time he's aimed at you, you've already perforated him with your round. Put your grenade launcher on now, and then immediately shoot the people repelling. See how there's two of them real close? How does that not kill both of them? It doesn't even kill the shit guy! Like, come on, dude! And it's this point where it's like, well, I'm not even going to waste time conserving these grenades because they're just not very good. You pick it up and you think wonderful things, and then you fire it and you see that. That makes me so mad. It's that moment of, game developers, why? I wanted to feel so strong. I wanted to be like Arnie in Commando, where he holds that, you know, that rocket launcher, and you can see the charge inside of it, and he fires, and people die, and he wins. He puts a claymore on the outside of a house, and it blows open from the inside out. It makes no logical sense, but he's a winner. I want to be a winner. But you denied me. And this is the end of the mission. So, pretty long one, couple of tricky sections, but you're going to have no issue with that, guys, if you've done the dig, if you've done some of those other awkward ones. You know, you're going to be fine. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this ride, and I hope it's helping. You take care now.
I need your help.
Okay.